right. Hey everybody. How's it going? Okay, let's see if this works. I thought I'd just jump on, do a quick hello. I've got myself a few new soundproofing things here, and I want to use a different mic today. So let's see if that works. Yeah. Let me know if this works. Let me know if you can hear me. I actually need to check if I'm live on LinkedIn. So if you're here, post in the chat a quick hello world so I know that you can see me. Okay, I think people are coming in. Yes. All right. Yeah. I was like today, what am I going to talk about today? I wanted to come on today and I wanted to have a chat with you. Maybe we're going to look at a few posts today. Yesterday I was on LinkedIn. I was mentioning a post where a lot of people actually reacted. And it's a topic, I think we can talk about this because I think right now people are hyped a lot about ChatGPT and about AI. I feel like ChatGPT actually pushed the AI hype a lot further. And right now everybody's like, everybody needs to learn AI, which I don't like. But let's look at this in a sec here. Let me bring that up. While I do that, I already see a lot of people. Hello, hey. Gregory, hi. Shivam. Hey, Vineeth. Hello. Oh, nice Snowflake logo. Can you please talk about transition from data analytics to data engineer? We can talk about that, yeah. I mean, we can start with that. I don't know. The thing, so it always depends a bit on what type of analytics are you coming from, right? Are you coming from the data scientist role or are you coming from the data analyst role? And when I talk about with my students, I have a lot of students in the academy that are coming from this analytics role, right? Or analyst role. What should these people learn? And for me, what I always recommend is go from what you know where you are good at. You are already good with accessing data, for instance, in a data warehouse. You are good with visualization tools like Power BI or whatever, right? So let's say you're coming from this side that is here, that is the typical analyst role. And now what you should then get into is you should get into actually preparing the content for the analyst, right? That you could very simply start, and here's just an example, right? You figure out, let's say Snowflake, how do I get data into Snowflake? And we were talking a lot before with bronze, silver, and gold tables, like the bronze tables that are raw data tables, the silver tables that are prepared data tables, like where the data is cleaned, and then the gold tables, which are actually the tables for certain use cases, for certain usages. So you could start very simply with that, get into this part of, okay, there is some data, let's get that data in and let's prepare that data for an analyst, right? So you're adding more stuff to what you already know. Because I think it's not a good option to start from the other side, to start from data ingestion and building streaming pipelines and like with Kafka, Spark, and so on. I think the good option for you is go from what you know. You already know the analyst stuff. So work on the part where you prepare the data for the analyst. And then you can go further and further and add more stuff to it. Right? So I think that is something that you should do as an analyst role. how to get a job, data science or data engineer for someone who don't have experience, and company says even for entry-level job, you should have 1 to 2 years of experience. Is having projects or cloud cert, will that help? Yes, Shivan. That is going to help, of course. If you don't have real world experience, any experience that you have will be good, will be better, right? So you should have a few personal projects that you can show off. That is the top thing. You could just start with, for instance, with Snowflake. Just get with Snowflake. Just start, build a project there. Use S3 to store the data, get that in Snowflake, and then do a visualization. Boom! Already, first project already done, right? A certification for certain jobs, for certain companies, it's important. That's what you should do. So, right? So this, everything can help. And of course, the certification can help. I'm not a huge super fan of certifications. For the certification side, let me explain it this way. I'm not a super fan of certifications if you do the certifications to have certifications. I don't know. That's I don't really like that. But if you do a certification to learn new things, to get better at what you already know with a certain tool on a certain platform, that absolutely makes sense. And you can even do that and document that type of work and make a project out of it, right? So I think that's very good. What cloud cert is helpful for landing on a data engineer job as a data scientist? Oh, I didn't fix my light, and now I know why I look so strange here. I had the wrong light on. I think for you, if you're coming from the scientist role, it is a good way of getting into the machine learning engineer role, right? Where you still have a bit to do with data science, a bit to do with data, with machine learning, modeling, and so on. But you also take care of the engineering stuff. So that's something, I think that is where you should go. Now, which certification? It's very difficult. Depends on the company, depends on the region, depends on the industry. So very difficult. You should do a bit of research. Basically, what clouds are the companies on that you're interested in, and then go for that. Projects over certs. I think a healthy combination of these makes sense. You should have a healthy combination. I would start with projects, yes, because you can easily talk about these projects and you are gaining a lot of hands-on experience struggling through projects if they're not prepared. But it's not difficult or not bad to do a certification. What was here? A roadmap for data engineer transition, as it has a lot of topics and difficult to acquire a good skill set without an actual industry experience. That is something, yes, and that is something that depends also on where you are coming from. What we were talking earlier about, like what's the transition from a analyst role? Because that is going to look different than from a database developer role, right? Or from a architect role, or some, maybe not architect, but simple software developer role. It's going to look different. So a simple roadmap is not that easy to do. I think, and that's what I try to give my students in the academy, is you should try to understand, okay, where are you coming from? Are you coming more from the analyst role? Then, as I said before, then you should get into data warehouses and transformation of the data and so on. If you're more from the software developer role, where you know how to code, where you know relational databases, most likely it makes sense to work on a transactional database, transactional system, maybe a streaming platform and so on. And yes, the tools are very, very different. Let me quickly bring something up. I can bring something up here. Just need to open up my browser. Come on, let me log in. I can bring up an example here. What I like to do with my students, for instance, I like to show them that it makes sense to do certain tracks, right? You start, look into Python for data engineers, so that you know how to work with Python. Python you can use everywhere. If it's Spark, if it's with dbt and Snowflake, basically. No, Snowflake only through dbt, but you know what I mean? Python is very generic, so that's a thing. Docker is also for an engineer. I think that's, for me, that's the basics, right? Python, Docker, platform pipeline design, that you understand how does a platform look. And I called this, you don't see my mouse again. And then schema design or data modeling. I actually should rename this finally. Data modeling, that you understand. I have different data stores. How does the data look in these stores? I think that is very important. With that, that's the basics. And that's also what an analyst can do. Maybe Docker you could, as an analyst, leave out first, because you're going to start from the data warehousing side. So it would, as an analyst, for instance, it would make sense to look here at basically at modern data warehousing, either something on GCP, that you say, okay, I'm setting up, I'm putting data in a file store in GCP, and then use BigQuery to work on the data and transform the data before and so on. Data Studio to actually then look at the data, or figure out here, Databricks, Snowflake, these kind of things, because that is something where the analyst is used to. Or if you're coming from let's say you're coming from a software developer role, and you know relational databases, you're interested in stream processing, then it would make sense to figure out, okay, how can I create a full streaming project with an API in the beginning to get the data in, then a message queue with Kafka, then stream processing with Spark, right? And then maybe a transactional database, a database where you put in transactions like MongoDB, and then a visualization on top of it, right? So that's, or if you're more into, that's why I created these different types of project and of tracks in my academy. Something for streaming, something with time series data, where you have a time series database and visualize that. Search engines for actually log monitoring, basically mainly with Elasticsearch. And then, for instance, on the platforms, AWS, Azure. Next is going to come a complete track here with GCP that we're creating, and dbt, where I'm currently working on. But that's the idea, right? And I would not go and would not work on 20,000 tools. Try to go that whole, try to figure out every one of these categories. Connect or data integration. How can I bring the data in? Either through an API where the data gets posted to me, or with the tool that actually brings the data in. It's actually something that I'm also looking in, like Fivetran or something, right? Then the message queue, because you need that for streaming, a stream processing framework like Spark or Flink, and then different kind of data stores. Something transactional like MongoDB, something analytical like Snowflake here, or Databricks, or Redshift Spectrum, BigQuery. These kind of things, I think, are what I would look for. Is ETL important for data engineers? Of course, ETL is still important. It's still a big topic. Not everything is streaming nowadays. You don't need streaming everywhere if it's a simple job. Absolutely, go look into ETL. Start an ETL job. Plan that in. That's something I think every engineer should know. Every engineer should figure out. I think. Are data engineers even required at all if data scientists and analysts are enough to do their ETL related jobs? So it always depends on the scale and the difficulty of the data preparation, right? If right now the scientists or the analysts can do everything, you don't need an engineer. And you would only hire an engineer if you want the scientists fixate on the science part. And you have enough resources to actually then give them the engineers to take that amount of work from them. Same with analysts. Very often the analysts are limited to the part of, okay, now the data is in my data warehouse and that's it. But how does it get into there? How do we integrate the data? So yes, of course, if you don't need an engineer because other people are doing the job, then you don't. But I'm always, basically my view is always, you need to have people that focus on what they are good at or what they're best at. And I think the analyst is best at analyzing data. The scientist is best for the science work, for the machine learning work, for the AI work, and the engineer is best for the engineering work. So it makes sense to actually split this so that everybody can focus on what they are doing best, right? But yeah, very often it's also the case that if the scientist or the analyst, they are doing the engineering work, it's not as good as if an engineer would do it where that person is specialized for it, right? So which ETL tool would be better? Doesn't matter. Learn any ETL tool, learn any ETL processing, and there are many ways of doing ETL. It's not a specific tool that you need. You could do ETL with cloud functions on GCP, right? Where you start the cloud function, you extract the data from a database and you process it and you put it somewhere else. It's already an ETL job. You don't need necessarily tools like Fivetran or what else is there? Is there Talent? I don't know. Like, yeah, that's why I'm not the big, this is the best tool. There are a lot of tools, and yeah, you should try one, and that's it for beginning. Maybe do a bit of research. What is out there? Job descriptions. What are people looking at? That's the thing. Currently, I'm working as Selenium tester. Okay, don't know what Selenium is. Tester 2 years, but want to switch to data engineering role. So, which cloud engineer should I choose to become a data engineer quickly? I mean, I'm guessing that's a question of which cloud to learn. Same question as all, same answer as always. Depends on the job or the company, the industry. the location. Maybe in some countries they're doing Azure more than AWS. Any cloud platform is good. Any cloud. Of course, AWS is the most used, and then Azure, and then GCP. But there's no best. And so, yeah, go with the one that you're interested in. If I would start, I would just start with one that I'm interested in. I was interested back then in AWS, so I just learned AWS and figured out how stuff worked. Should I learn Hadoop Hive in depth for data engineering? I mean, generally Hadoop is not really in anymore. Yes, some companies are still using Hadoop, but I think we were talking about that last time. Let me just quickly bring it up. I think we were talking about this last time. Let me figure it out. Here. Does your company still use Hadoop? And in my data engineering connections on LinkedIn, 31% say yes, 33 say not anymore, right? And 36 say never have. So 30% are still using it. Most likely, a lot of them are going to switch to the cloud if they can. Of course, not everybody can, because not everybody is allowed to go on the cloud with their sensitive data, but generally, I think that is the trend. So Hadoop, not that much anymore. So until the next questions are coming in. Oh, there was actually another one. I've never heard about AWS Quickside. Is it good? Yes and no. I mean, it's quite good. It's a bit annoying to set up. It's also not as cheap. It costs something. So, it's okay to use. There are nicer tools. Hadoop can be on the cloud as well. Of course, you can set up your Hadoop installation on the cloud. You can get yourself virtual machines and then set up the cluster. But nowadays, there's basically no upside of running Hadoop on the cloud. You have storage systems like, when you think of, I'm always first thinking in the AWS ecosystem, right? You have systems like S3, where you easily store data, which basically replace HDFS. Then you can use Spark jobs. You have Spark basically like in AWS Glue. You can run Spark jobs, so you don't need Spark anymore. You have Airflow there that you don't need to stick on Hadoop anymore or on Spark. So that's a bit different than Hadoop, but there's no reason for that. Hive, you basically don't need anymore because you have Glue Data Catalog. You have tools like Redshift Spectrum where you directly can query data from S3, Redshift Spectrum, or Athena, which is basically the same thing. So there's no really a need anymore for having that that more work of getting into Hadoop and setting up the instances and managing the cluster and getting the license from Cloudera, for instance. Why would you do that? It's not really necessary anymore. You can just get the tools, most of them even software as a service, and process the data. So it's not really needed anymore. Yeah. So let me quickly talk about that. That's something I actually posted yesterday. I saw that post here from Endred. It was like, learn AI before it's too late. You are here, and before AI now, to succeed in the future, you must learn AI, and top resources to get up to speed and so on. And for me, yes, there are a lot of good resources here. Elements of AI to understand that a bit. AI for everyone. Broad overview of the field. Learn AI and machine learning with Google. But what is ChatGPT doing? Why does it work? I mean, it really does does everybody need to learn this now? No. For me, that's absolutely the wrong view here. Not everybody needs to learn AI. Not everybody needs to be a data scientist and understand how AI works, how machine learning in the background works, how to create your own models. It does absolutely not make sense. There's no need for this. Of course, this for some people there's a need, but like if you know how to use ChatGPT, and there are a few resources here, like practical deep learning for coders. Does everybody now need to learn that? No. Python course for beginners. That's not there. There was one. I think the main message for me here for you is, especially for ChatGPT, you should figure out how to use it and how to use it to help you with your daily work, because it can really help you. Like when I do posts on social media, or I worked on a media kit for my media services for the live streams that I offer for companies to basically sponsor live streams, or where we do talks and so on. Like if I want to rephrase something, because I'm not a native English speaker, right? So for me, sometimes it's a bit difficult to bring it to the point, or on the website. Then I put my ideas into ChatGPT and say, rephrase this for me for my website usage. And it really works well. And I think that's something for people that they should figure out, and that they should know how to leverage that. But not everybody should learn that and should know how this works. That's the beauty of good. That was always, like when we were back at my Bosch Rexroth days, where we were working at the project with predictive analytics. The beauty of it was that the normal user didn't know how this works, didn't need to know how this works. The AI part was hidden in the background, was the cleverness was hidden, and the user got the interesting information for them presented without having to worry about that. The same thing with ChatGPT. Why would you need to know how ChatGPT works? If you know how to use it well and to leverage it in your work to be more productive, then that's enough. That's enough. Mohammed, I have 2 questions, so let's hear them. Let's hear the 2 questions. What's a good platform for big data warehouse platform? It always depends on what exactly are you doing. What is big data for you? I think there are a few very safe bets, and that's also what I was showing you here, what I usually teach people in the academy. I think Snowflake, Databricks, these are very, very safe platforms. Big data for data warehousing, for large amounts of data, these are very good. Same for BigQuery in the combination with file storage or Redshift and S3. I think these are safe bets. If you're just setting up, if you're learning, Snowflake is really, really good. It has a really nice learning curve. It's very easy to learn, especially if you already have a bit of experience with SQL. I think Snowflake. I would start with Snowflake. It's very, very, very nice. Very nice. Of course, if you're into Spark and Databricks, like, you know, Spark is in my heart because I started my parallel processing career with MapReduce, but then with Spark did many years of Spark coding. So Spark is still in my heart. Yeah. Did you already use Kedro from Quantum Black? No. Why do people don't talk much about this framework? It looks good mainly because of the data catalog. I have no idea. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. But generally, data catalogs is something very, very powerful. And I think everybody should have a data catalog ready. Because otherwise, when you process a lot of data and you don't have a data catalog, it can be very messy. It can be very problematic because you don't know where the data is, or don't know what data is where, you don't know how to access it, you don't know the data types and so on. You know how it is with files. When you store data in files, it's can be very difficult. So a data catalog is very important, and that's why these tools, like back in the day, like Hive or like Glue Data Catalog on AWS, they're very important. What's actually the alternative for GCP there? I don't know. I don't actually know the alternative on GCP for Glue Data Catalog. I don't know. Let me quickly get something to drink. I'm back in a sec. I just quickly need to get something to drink. Yeah, I didn't make myself a tea before the stream and now I'm paying for it. Yeah, you can, of course, you can use Cloudera on AWS. You can use Cloudera everywhere. Yeah. Warehousing on Hadoop platforms. Let me think. I actually, what's the... Let's quickly get ChatGPT in this. If it's available. I just want to quickly ask here. What is the best data warehouse solution for Hadoop platforms? What's the, I don't know what is currently hip. Yeah, Hive, of course, but is there something better? Spark SQL? Impala. Well, Redshift is not Hadoop. Don't know. I'm guessing you have to stay. I mean, if you run Spark on your Caldera installation and you use Hive and you use as the, how's it called, execution engine or processing framework? I don't know what the exact configuration was, but you can make it that Hive uses Spark, so it makes sense to stay with Hive there, because then you can use through Spark, you can use, or because then Hive uses Spark to actually process the data when you query something. So I'm guessing that's how I would first when go with. I know it's very old school, but I don't know if it's still hip. What's Apache? Wasn't there Apache Iceberg? Wasn't Iceberg Apache Iceberg open table format for analytics data sets? High performance format for huge analytics tables. Don't think so. Don't think so. What should I learn after Spark, Airflow, AWS Data Warehouse? I'm currently working on Oracle DB and SQL Server as a developer, in my experience close to data engineer role. Yeah, that's I think that's already good. If you know Spark, you know how to use Airflow, you know how to use data warehousing and can process data. You have Oracle and SQL Server experience or a developer. I think for what you should learn after that is try to find a job here. Try to find a job as an engineer and try to get some engineering experience. I think that's the main thing. It's already a good start. You could learn a bit about APIs, maybe CI/CD, how you can integrate CI/CD into it, so that whenever you develop something, that it's automatically tested before and then automatically deployed after the testing. I think that's something that might be very interesting for you. Will data analysts be replaced by AI? I mean, people right now, everybody asks, will data engineering be replaced by AI? Will data analysts be replaced by AI? Look beyond the hype right now, okay? It's not everything will be replaced. There might be some parts that are going to be replaced, but one thing that the analyst, let's just stay with the analyst, okay? What's one thing that the analyst really, really knows and really understands? It's the business, the data, and how the data basically fits to the business, right? The domain knowledge, okay? That is something that, and also for a scientist, same thing, to a certain degree also for the engineer, but for an analyst, most important part is understanding the data and the business, because only then the analyst can really create a good output. I think we can all agree with that, right? I think we can all agree with that. Now it's ringing outside. Let me quickly get to the door. Welcome to live streams. Now, a friend of mine was outside. He wanted to pick something up, and of course, I was thinking, will he join whenever I stream? Yes, will he come by? Okay. I don't know where was I? Analysts be replaced? Yeah, I don't think so. Do you have a course on data science? No, I don't have a course on data science because I'm learn data engineering, right? Data engineer. I'm an engineer, but you can check out data science infinity. Look into here. Look into data science infinity. It's the. Is that the main website? Where is Andrew here? Andrew Jones's platform. You can check that out. Okay, my wife says dinner at 6. Okay, I'm going to get to an end. So check out Andrew's thing. Data science. Maybe I haven't seen it. Data science infinity. I think that's something to check out. SSRS report developer, want to upskill myself. Which tech stack we need to learn? As I said, look into data warehousing, get comfortable with a data warehouse, with how to put data in a warehouse, to transform it there, how to query it from it with tools like Power BI or something. I think that's the big thing for you, how to start. AI is a tool to make you more efficient. Mostly you can do more with less, and that's where the real job loss comes from. Let's see. I think most likely you need to upskill yourself. Yes, jobs are going to change a bit. Also the engineer stuff, because most likely AI is going to help us fix the simple things. But whenever you need to solve complex things in your head, whenever you need to be creative, that creativeness, that is, and decision making, that's where AI is terrible, or not good. Let's keep it with not good. That's where you can't be replaced. I guess I'm having a bit of a hard time finding a job in data engineering. It's right now, it's difficult. I think since this year, it's very difficult. I've been a few weeks back, I've been doing a bit of research for my students, and you see almost every job has like 30, 40 applicants. The only way out of this is what I always tell my students: do more, document more. Every course, every project from the academy you can put it on your personal GitHub. You document it a bit, and then you have something to show. Like, you need to have that personal portfolio of projects nowadays, and the more the better, especially if the job search is hard. And I absolutely understand it can be very difficult, especially now. Last one. Any thoughts on high performance computing master's program? I don't know. That's high performance computing masters is too broad. We would need to look at the curriculum, and if it's a future-proof curriculum, it's difficult. Don't know. Very difficult to say just by the name. Is it good to start with data analysis, then move to data engineering for a non-IT degree? Why not? I mean, analyst can be a good start in that area, can be a good start with data. If you're coming from you have no software developer experience, you have no experience like designing databases or even querying databases, the most important is no software development experience. If you can't code, you don't understand how computers work, let's call it that, or computer networking and so on. Very difficult. Data engineering is very difficult then. So it might be good to start with actually as an analyst, and go that route. Look into what's this data. Here. Go on. Look at Data Career Jumpstart from yeah, look at that. Look at Data Career Jumpstart, a 10-week data analytics bootcamp. So that might be something that is interesting, as if you want to start in the whole data sector and you're completely no IT knowledge, no computer science knowledge. Can I get a virtual internship or job in data analysis? I'm an IT undergraduate. Not with me, but I would try apply to internships. But yeah, take your time. Do research, apply to jobs. Yeah. I think internship is always helpful, especially in large companies, because maybe then you have some connections, people already know you, and maybe that company has a job for you somewhere. So yeah, try that, but not with me. I don't have that setup where I can take interns right now. All right. As my wife wrote here, where was she? My wife wrote here, dinner at 6. So I need to actually finish because I need to wrap up here in the office and go home. So thanks for being here. I hope this short one was helpful for you, was fun for you. For me, it's always fun, even if I'm sometimes don't have stuff to talk about. It's the actual starting the stream is very difficult, because coming up with the topic every day is very, very difficult. That's why I was just jumping on today. I had two topics here from LinkedIn, but your questions always make my day. They help. What's that here, by the way? Ah, that's it. They help with getting into the topic. They hopefully help you. So yeah, thanks for being here. Have a great one. See you next time. Next time I'm going to announce it a bit earlier. Right. See ya. Bye.